Hey there, you me DC fans, and welcome if you are new. I am Mantis, and today we check out the next chapter here in the Absolute Batman, issue number 18. We've spent the last several issues getting used to a Bruce Wayne who is 6'9", 400-pound powerhouse, a man who built himself from the ground up without the safety net of a billion-dollar fortune or sprawling mansion. But in this issue, the physical struggle against the green is only half the battle. As Poison Ivy's organic kingdom continues to choke the life out of Gotham, the story shifts from a simple survival horror into a deep psychological interrogation of what it means to be a hero in a world designed by Darkseid. This issue explores the concept of clinging and holding on to the past, onto friends, and holding on to humanity versus the cold hard necessity of evolution. We get a much closer look at the Wayne family and the secret power players moving in the shadows of this new Gotham. Maybe some Court of Owls in there. While the action is brutal and visceral as ever, the real weight of this chapter lies in the choices Bruce has to make to stay ahead of Ivy, as well as Grim. Let's dive into the wreckage. Firstly, we catch up with Martha Wayne in New Mexico. If you remember the last issue, the very last part of it, Martha was down in a train station trying to make contact with the Court of Owls. Here, she's leaving a voicemail to Bruce, somewhat of a farewell message, telling him to never change who he is. But her message gets cut off early as the court appears and kind of like grabs her, throws her into a rape van after they check her response to a code phrase. I'm guessing she answered correctly, so they bag her and they take off. Now, back in Gotham, remember Batman was still atop this massive structure, fighting his way up to find Pamela Isley. And Batman's fighting a losing battle here against an army of Poison Ivy clones. And Alfred's screaming in his ear that the spore density is critical up here. If his cowl comes off, his genetics will shatter. He'll be turned instantly to the will of Isley. And his cowl will only last so long as he's fighting off the attacking Ivies. He needs a weakness to exploit. But even Alfred is coming up empty. We get a flashback next to Ivy's tragic origin. She was caught in that lab fire, and after the fire, the only thing left of her was her heart. And they found it, and her mother was allowed to see it. And while the scientists say she was gone, she was still in there. She could feel the primal forces, the green, the red, and the black, even since that black death inside her mother. She even realized, she's going to die alone on a bus stop that same day. This trauma is the catalyst that allows Pamela to grow her new monstrous body from that single heart. Back, Ivy continues to battle Batman, but she is still possibly trying to get him to join her, and that they are in fact on the same side, which seems crazy at this point. She even starts to sound a little like Bane, telling him to embrace the change he knows is inside him. Bruce, still trying to reach Alfred, is getting static at this point because Ivy has disrupted the radio signal back to Alfred with her spores. Seems he's all alone at this point. The conversation must have triggered Bruce's memories, or maybe it's some of the spores taking effect on him, but he has these visions or flashbacks, memories, trying to save his friends, Wayland, Oswald, and Eddie. We see the fallout of Harvey Dent losing his job as DA because of his ties to Batman. And Bruce still has Martha's message on his phone, but he stops himself from playing it, saving it for the moment he may need it the most. Bruce is teetering on the edge of something with his morality, something he knows he doesn't want to cross into. Ivy, now continuing the mental and physical assault on Bruce, she weeds her way into his mind, trying to relate to his pain and how she can take the pain away. The stakes explode, though, as Ivy unleashes these flower rockets. They hit Batman and explode in clouds of pollen, only damaging his outside, but his cowl is still intact. Meanwhile, in New Mexico, Martha Wayne is standing before the court. They want to punish her for breaking communication rules, but Martha feels it was worth it. She senses something is happening in Gotham. It was worth the risk. And then she drops the bombshell. She wasn't just a member of the Court of Owls, she was a Talon, their absolute best. Surviving was enough previously, but Batman has changed that. She feels the court has to make a presence in Gotham at this point. Ivy now echoing what Martha was telling the court that Batman was introduced to the city and it's reacting to Batman's presence. But Bruce is trying to hold back instead of embracing it. Bruce sees one of the MUC guns on the ground and he lunges, but before he could get to it, Ivy thrusts at him, impaling him and swallowing him. Next, we see again maybe some of these memories or something that's happening currently. Alfred being reassigned by his bosses. Previously we know he's with MI6. He was there to find out what Grimm was and what Grimm was up to. But now they've reassigned him to taking down Batman. Just then Harley jumps in and she kind of voices her support but for her and the Red Hoods. Even Dick Grayson seems to want to get on it. In fact, it seems not everyone in the city is excited as some of Bruce's workers are about the Batman. Ivy continuing to show Bruce things in his mind. We can see the one who she wants to team up against. The leader, the Horned King, Mr. Grimm himself. Ivy seems to know quite a bit of him and how he works, manipulates, corrupts. He is the reason she saw Bruce after all. That one night at Arkham, running through her biome to escape. From that point, she knew that if she had the chance, that she would try to join with Bruce. Because Bruce isn't willing to evolve, though, she will have to use the spores on him and all of Gotham. Together, they can stop Grimm. Next, we get this kind of crucial flashback that reveals the night Bruce had destroyed one of the Batman merch pop-up tents on the side of the street. He was kind of wrecking things and he was caught by Jim. And not wanting to talk to Jim about his mom and Jim's Netflix and chill nights, he declines. But Jim isn't wanting to discuss any of his relationship. Jim knows Bruce is Batman. I mean, again, he's a pretty big guy, kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. But Martha seemingly doesn't know at this point either. Bruce explains that he never meant Batman to become the beacon of light, only to shine the light on the darkness of Gotham. But now it's kind of all over the city. And unfortunately, to beat what's ahead, Bruce might have to become darker than he ever has. As Ivy has Bruce still trapped in her, Ivy, Barbara has snuck in there and returned from her forced skydiving lesson from the last issue. She frees Batman as he grabs one of the MUCs. Bruce takes aim at Ivy, and she finally notices him. And I guess, takes the gun pointed at her as Bruce's final answer on joining her. We check back with Martha and the court, who now has a choice to make. With a gun pointed at her, she makes her life-saving point about standing for something that's stood against the rich and powerful. And as we find out, against Jack Grimm as well. In fact, that's who drove them out of Gotham to begin with, it seems. If hiding from him is what the court has become, they may as well pull the trigger and kill her. Ivy makes a last stand lunge at Bruce, but he's able to fire the MUC, stunning her. And while it won't destroy her, it does expose the only human thing left of Pamela, the last thing her dying mother held, her heart. His bargain is simple: destroy the spores or he will destroy her heart. And while she can rebuild it, it won't be the same one her mother held. Bruce, remembering what Jim had told him on that bench, that Ivy does climb, but it also clings. In this case, it clings onto a precious memory and connection between Pamela and her mother. He makes a good case as Ivy agrees to get rid of the spores. Ivy relents and destroys the spores, but Batman realizes he has to take Jim's advice to the extreme. To become the weapon Gotham needs, he has to get rid of those clings, the connections to his old life. We see he turns the noise cannon to full power and vaporizes Ivy's heart in a double cross as she screams. In turn, the court fires the pistol at Martha. We don't see if she's dead or not. I'm guessing not. As SWAT arrives, Batman and Barbara escape. It's becoming evident that Bruce Wayne persona is dead. He's abandoned the Iceberg Lounge and his friends. We see the artifact that Diana helped Bruce get, Wayland, has returned him to human form, but kept his massive giant-like size. And now, Batman, perched atop Gotham, listens to the message from his mother, the only one he was saving, and deletes it without ever listening. At this point, he has no anchors left. He is only the Batman, the only thing that can defeat Jack. All right. Thanks for hanging in there with me through this video, guys. It's starting to get really good now again. I don't keep saying that. As Absolute Batman seems to keep going and going. But again, we see here Batman, the past couple issues after what, Bane had done to his friends, he kept trying to right the wrong, go visit them, bring them food and all this stuff. But now he realized in this fight with Pamela that to defeat Jack Grimm, maybe the person who is ahead of all of this stuff happening, he may have to become something that he didn't want to, something that Bane tried to turn him into, something darker. Let's see if he actually can do that. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And if you would, please hit the like and subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know when the next issue of one of our Absolute series comes out. And until next time, later.